sorry, the standard for men just got raised. I went on a date last night. He's gonna see this, and that's what makes it all the more funny. I'm going on a girls trip in like 2 weeks for my birthday, and he was like, oh, what are you doing for your birthday? And I was like, oh, nothing, I'm going on a girls trip. And he was like, give me your phone. Takes my phone, opens my Venmo, scans my fucking Venmo thing, and Venmos me $300 with the caption, so men don't buy you drinks in Miami. That is literally insane, but why do I love it?
Boy, there's no real easy way to say this, but, look, you're a simp.
You know, I might be wrong on this one, but I'm about 99.9% certain that this broad pocketed the $300 and still let Chad, Tyrone, Raphael, Marco, Chang, Wang, Takeda, and Kilgore buy her drinks and even got to have some fun with their slimy dry dock of disturbing discharges. This is exactly why self-respecting men should never lead with their wallets. She'll gladly take your money, she'll gladly brag about it online, and she'll gladly disregard you and your feelings when she's on that girls trip and she's grinding up against the guy that she really wants. And without skipping a beat, she'll turn around and say that the bar for expectation has been raised because some simp decided it would be a brilliant move to freely give her $300, which is a massive shame because there's so much more you can do with $300. You can buy yourself a pair of, I don't know, moderate quality headphones or a really nice cooler. Hell, you could go all out and buy yourself a couple of pounds worth of really good steak. But the one thing you shouldn't do is give it to a modern woman. At that point, you're just asking for pain. And because now you're out $300, you won't be able to afford the ibuprofen for later.
Here, take 2 of these.
I'm stuck between 2 extremes of dating right now. My first extreme is like, I can't chase after these men. If he doesn't like me, that's gross. He's giving me the ick. It's disturbing if like I have to be chasing after him. That's one. Then the other one is like, fuck it. I don't care if I have to text him 3 times. I don't care if I call him, he doesn't answer. Like, I don't mind being crazy. Like, I don't care. I'm just like being silly. And like, what is he gonna do? Be like, get away from me. Okay. Block me. Block me. You so scared? Block me. I don't care.
Lady, you're scaring us.
And with that one statement, you've already proven something that we already know, sister, and that is modern women are nothing but a bunch of hypocrites. We all know that you're going to be saving the icks for the average guy. You're hoping to get a free meal with which to bilk. The other is reserved for Chad and PI. You'll chase after one as you freely scorn the other. You can't help yourself. You've created this world of delusion where every single thing that happens to you is either the greatest, most important thing to ever happen in the history of humans, or it means that your life is on par with the sweatshop worker who makes about 2 cents a day while they stitch together those designer shoes that you'll wear maybe twice a year. And it's this extreme that's melted what's left of your brains to the point where you can't even comprehend basic English without somehow blaming men for it. And if we're being perfectly honest, even if that man has completely blocked you, if you've gone into full-on stalker mode, then you won't accept no for an answer with this guy. Because you're a modern woman. No only means no when you say it. If a man says it, then it's an impolite suggestion that you have to refuse to accept.
No.
Will they come back? Yes. They always come back. 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 Hello? They always come back. They always come back. When will they come back? Totally up to them. It's not going to be before 3 months. I wouldn't suspect at that time. So from the time that they discard you or dump you or the relationship is over, y'all break up, for the first 3 months, that's your time. That's you.
Oh, wait, you're serious.
Alright, so do they always come back? Because it sounds to me like they always come back. And you have quote-unquote dated so many guys who also coincidentally broke up with you every single time, and they, after 3 months, reached out to you. Which nearly isn't as much of an accomplishment as you think, lady. It sounds to me like you're hoping that they'll reach out to you in 3 months because you desperately want them back. Now let's think about this with a quality that you lack. And that quality is rationality. These guys have broken up with you. And because you come from a generation of weak-minded, easily led, overly sensitive broads who suffer from an incurable case of main character syndrome, you cannot stand the idea of any man not wanting you. So when the man breaks up with you, you can't help but want him to come back so you can either A, tell him off with a pre-prepared speech that you'll ultimately botch in the execution despite your 3 months of preparation time, or B, wanting him back so desperately that that you'll record TikTok cringe in hopes of him seeing it so he'll reach out to you mid-breakdown. Either way, it's going to be humiliating for you, and it just proves that there's no bar that's too low for broads like this.
You're focusing on you. You are detaching. You're moving on. You're going through all of the emotions of the breakup. You're processing everything. You are reprioritizing you. You are finding your hobbies. You are getting back with all of your friends. You are hanging out. You are going on walks. You are bettering yourself. You're hitting the gym. You're reading the books. You're working on you. And then after that 3 months, whenever they start to miss you, because that's their timeline of when they start to miss you, and because they haven't been doing the work.
Say, what now?
Oh yeah, we all can definitely tell you've been doing the work there, sister. You focus so much work on yourself, what with your therapy sessions where you endlessly complain, reading that one book and a half that pretty much tells you exactly what you want to hear, and that one time you went out on a walk and were only triggered by happy couples 3 times instead of your usual 5. Here's the real question for you, sweetheart. Why should you care? You've spent all of 4 days improving yourself on your healing journey, so it should be the exact same thing if this guy comes back or if he doesn't. But I guess you're so healthy and healed that you need to relentlessly slap your phone camera to remind yourself that it's the 3-month mark and the day that you have been endlessly praying for. Looking forward to? No, I meant wishing for. No, wait, I meant dreading. Yeah, dreading. That's it. The day you've been dreading is nigh, and therefore you feel the need to psych yourself up, which is kind of weird. Now, if this guy was the one who broke up with you, then there isn't much work he needs to do on himself. He's the one who broke up with the psycho, so he's probably happy to be rid of you.
They broke up with you, they discarded you, they're not doing the work, they have either found a rebound relationship or they're just completely avoiding everything. After the 3 months, they're gonna breadcrumb you. Are you ready for it? You better be ready for it. You better have your pre-written text out of what you're gonna say that is your boundary, and you gotta have your plan. You gotta have your plan for what you're gonna do in the event of when they come back, because they always come back. They always come back, okay? They just do. They always come back. So you have to be ready for when they come back. You got this. You got this.
I must have missed 60 minutes. What are you saying?
Well, I hate to break it to you, sister, but if you need to psych yourself up and make a pre-written text of what you would say if this guy reaches out to you, then you've already lost the war. There's a simple solution that would completely solve this predicament with which you find yourself. Why in the hell don't you just block him? You know, blocking, that ultimate own that you use against men to teach them a lesson. Just block him and move on with your life. That way it won't matter if he comes back or not. That way there's no need to gird your loins on the off chance that he sends you a 3-word text 3 months after he broke up with you. But we all know you won't do it, and that is because you want him to come back. You cannot stand living in a world where he does not want you back. So you're going to leave him unblocked, you're going to post cringe in hopes of it going viral, and you're going to stalk him on social media in hopes that he'll come back. And if he does, then it's only because he's got $20 and doesn't feel like going to a bar to pick up a chick for some late night smashery, when all it'll take with you is 30 minutes worth of texting. But that's only if you send that pre-written text of yours. If you don't, it'll only take him 15.
That's funny because it's so true.
This is what your Saturday looks like as a single in her 30s girl with no children. I woke up at 10:15, hungover, FaceTimed like 6 people. Took my pup on a walk, got some coffee, a little lavender from the new Starbucks spring line. Cleaned myself up, packed a bag because who knows where the day is going to take me. And now I'm walking to my friends to go to Beer Olympics for the afternoon. Then we're going to come back to her place, get changed, get ready to go to country night, do some line dancing to some live music.
Cool.
Wow, woman, you truly are living your best life. I mean, sure, you could have had a stable life with a good man, maybe some kids or something that reflects your age, but why have that when you could just repeat the cycle of your early 20s for the next decade? I mean, that's all these single women over 30 do. They pretty much just go out and do the exact same thing they've been doing for the last decade, and then they try to trick themselves into thinking that they're having fun, but in reality, they're just doing the only thing that they know how to do, and with disastrous results. So let's go ahead and break this down. You woke up after 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning. You're hungover, you spent a few hours on your phone, FaceTiming with other people, you then walked your dog, and now you're already making plans for your next hangover. And you have this idea in your your head that you never know where the day is going to take you, even though you know exactly where the day is going to take you because you're going to be drinking for 13 hours with your other single girlies in their 30s. What you're doing is just the drinking version of the definition of insanity, and you do it every day. Lather, rinse, repeat, just like clockwork.
Brought the pup because, again, who knows where the night's gonna take us, because I have no responsibilities and no dependents besides the pup, so just gotta make sure he's good. And then tomorrow we'll wake up, gonna go to brunch with some girls, maybe a bottomless situation, who's to say, and then I think we might play some beach tennis and bop about, because when you're single and childless, your responsibilities are yourself, and I'm taking great care of myself.
Woman, if by taking care of yourself you mean giving yourself an extreme case of liver disease, then mission friggin' accomplished, I guess. Of all the activities that you mentioned, only 2 of them involve taking care of yourself: beach tennis and walking your dog. And everything else, and I mean literally everything else, either involves drinking or the planning of drinking with other people. You drank last night, you woke up and prepared to drink tonight, and in preparation for drinking bottomless mimosas in the next morning. This is only mimicked by college undergrads who think that going out and getting drunk is somehow the same thing as living your best life. Now, you're saying that this is a great way to live your life because you don't have the responsibilities of a wife or a mother, but therein lies the problem, woman. You have absolutely nothing to do. That's why you drink like a fish and think living your best life involves beach tennis and bopping it out, which I really don't think that means what you think it means. But to be fair, it's not like you're going to be sober enough to actually care what English means at the end of the day, so who freaking cares?
To alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
And of course, these daily uploads would not be possible without the support from the fine members of the Bounty Board on Patreon. Gentlemen and gents, thank you a million times over for your support. All hail! And if you're interested in supporting the channel, check out the Bounty Board over on Patreon, where for $5 a month, you can get access to exclusive content you're not going to find on YouTube. And of course, you can always support the channel by liking this video, sharing, leaving comments, and if you're enjoying my particular brand of comedy, then I hope I've earned your subscription today.
The biggest indicator that you're going to be manipulated by a man, if you aren't already being manipulated by him, is that he tries to expedite the process of connection and intimacy. What do I mean by this? So say you match on Hinge, he asks you out on a date, you go on the date, and then he immediately wants to see you in like a couple days. And then you go on a second date, it's great, he wants to see you in a couple of days. And then the third date, you're already going to his. And you're like, okay, well, it's the third date, so like, I mean, like, that would be the natural progression. However, do you see what the problem here is?
You have had the frontal lobe of your brain removed and replaced with bubble wrap.
Yeah, I'm seeing the problem, lady. The problem is that you're run through. You spent too much time on the carousel and now must subject to what precious few pickings you have through a gauntlet of meaningless trust exercises before you can even begin to contemplate possibly allowing this guy some unenthusiastic and underwhelming bedroom fun in exchange for the trouble. And it starts with this, right here. Here we have a guy who wants to see a woman, but he's apparently unfamiliar with how much time he should be spending in between dates. But the only reason why he doesn't know the proper amount of timing is because the woman has no idea either. It's just an arbitrary standard that you set to make the man that you resent to pay for the sins of the Tyrone. So if he tries to score after the third date, then apparently he's moving too fast and is straight up abusing this woman through manipulation, even though she's the one who's denying him physical intimacy in any form. Yeah, great plan there, woman, and I'm sure that the guys who are dumb enough to be interested in you are going to appreciate you accusing them of manipulating you, because nothing spells true love quite like baseless accusations.
He's trying to expedite the process of you guys feeling close and intimate, which is built over a period of time. Think about all your closest friends. Did you become friends with them overnight? No, you were probably taking your time and getting to know them, met up maybe like once, maybe twice a week. You gave yourself and that friend space to decide how you feel about each other. Yeah, that's how relationships work. Guys who try to expedite it and see you back to back to back, or texting you nonstop in between, are trying to create a sense of connection and closeness that can't happen unless there's time involved.
What?
Or, and I'm just spitballing here, this guy actually does feel like there's a connection and he wants to see more of you. I mean, isn't that what you want? Don't you want a guy who's going to ask you questions and listen intently and plan out dates and be totally obsessed with you? Well, the answer is obvious. And that answer is only when you find that man to be attractive as well, but there's a problem with that scenario. If we're talking about an average dude, we're not talking about a 5. We're talking about your version of average, which is an 8. And then if you look at that 8, you're going to automatically resent him for not being the hot guys that you have had in the past. So if he's trying to get to know you, you're already planting red flags on the grave that is the future of this relationship. If he wants to be intimate with you, then he's the one that's moving too fast. However, if you have the exact same situation with the man that you deem to be ideal, then you'll ditch the arbitrary timeline and ride that sausage train to Tuna Town faster than you can say emotional trauma. And that's because you make the good men wait because you hate the idea that they are the best that you can get with what little you got left.
So they don't want to invest the time in actually getting to know you, but they want you to feel like you are close to them, which is manipulation. And so when it reaches a third date and you're like, wait, I really do feel like I know this guy. We have such good chemistry and we like have talked about so much. You feel, or your brain is tricking you to feel that you know him. But you don't. You maybe known him for like a week, 10 days. So don't be fooled by these men. The biggest investment that any person, especially a man, can put into a relationship and how you know he's for real is if he's investing time in you and he is consistently showing up, not quickly showing up.
Emotional, damn it!
Alright, sister, I'm gonna try to make sense of this. You are saying that if this guy spends the time, the energy, and the money to get to know you and is making you feel like he likes you and you like him back, then that clearly means that your brain is playing tricks on you and he's taking advantage of that because of mistakes that you made in your past that he's somehow responsible for because he has the same chromosome makeup as the rest of the dudes you banged back when you had value on the dating market. Yeah, that actually kind of makes sense. It's absolutely absurd that you can deny a man bedroom fun and accuse him of being manipulative when you are the one that's doing the manipulating. I mean, think about it for a second. If you're telling this man that he must go out of his way to prove that he likes you before allowing any form of intimacy, I mean, which is fine, you control access to the bedroom, but the problem is that there is no clear-cut thing that this man can do. There's no timeline. There's not even any methodology to tell if he's on the level. It's all based on your fifis, and those fifis are based purely on what this man lacks in comparison to the previous men in your life. And if you're at that point, you're already showing resentment to the guy whose only crime is actually liking you.
You have failed conclusively. It's over. And there is nothing that you can do here in this room that can turn that around.
I've been single for so long and I've been actively dating for so long that sometimes I just genuinely question if I'll ever even find someone. Statistically, I should have found someone by now. At the rate that I'm going and with how often I'm putting myself out there, the amount of dates I go on, like, it's bonkers. Bonkers, I tell you, bonkers. And to be honest, I don't really remember the last time where I was like truly like having a crush, infatuated. You know that like giddy, hee hee, ha ha, like, oh my god, he texted, like that feel. I don't remember the last time I had that.
That's not my problem. It's yours.
Hey woman, it's kind of depressing that a guy like me who literally only passed the 3rd grade thanks to participation in gym class has to explain to you how numbers work, because you got it backwards. Statistically speaking, the more men that you date or entertain, the less likely you're going to be able to have those butterflies in your stomach that the movies told you were a sign of true love. And that's because, much like your middle school math failures have told you, numbers are most certainly not your friends in this regard. The more men that you date, the more that you have to compare to others. So statistically speaking, you may think that Chad is hot, but he's not as good in bed as Ray Ray. Tyrone may have an awesome paying job, but his car isn't like Pookie's. And Raphael may know the best spots for dinner dates, but he's not as sophisticated as Heinrich. Oh, and in this case, sophisticated and European can be used interchangeably. It's the same thing to a modern woman. So effectively, the more men you date, the more likely you're going to become bitter and jaded to the point where you get pissed off at men for not being the total package. Meanwhile, you're not even half of a package that's been ripped apart by the neighbor's dog, with the other half being stolen by porch pirates.
I don't think I've had that in like the past like few years. I'm not sure if I'll ever feel that again, which is crazy because like it's just like the part of life, you know. Everyone wants love. We love love, but love does not love us. Sometimes love loves us if it's platonic. Love does not romantically love us. Don't start with all of that. It'll find you when you're not looking. Bullshit. Why? Because I lower my standards and I'm willing to take less than what I would? That's why?
Gentlemen, what brings me to my next point. Don't smoke crack.
Well, I hate to break it to you, sister, but there's no point in lowering your standards. You've already reached the point of no return when it comes to your path to the wall. And that point is the bitter resentment and outright loathing of average men for the crime of being average. Just take a look at your face when you even mention the mere idea of lowering your standards. You automatically assume that the men within your league are somehow magically not good enough for you, even though you've pretty much shown the entire planet that you're not even good enough for a half order of cold chicken nuggets and a side order of lukewarm ketchup. You can't appreciate the irony of it all. You complain about not being able to find a good guy, and you lament about not being able to get a date, and then you outright insult the very same men who would be willing to give you a shot, and then you act shocked when you can't find this absurd version of love that doesn't even exist anymore. But hey, you're a modern woman. Even when you're shooting yourself in the foot, it's still somehow the man's fault when you're the one that's turning your foot into Swiss cheese. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button, ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and be sure to share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you once again for checking out the new video, gentlemen and gents, and until next time, peace out, homies.